Welcome back. We are continuing with the quadratic equations. Now we are going to the next thing under quadratic equation, which is called completing squares. Completing squares. So completing squares is a method that is used while solving the quadratic equations. Like when you want to get the x values for the quadratic equations, you can use also completing square as another method. So that's what we are going to consider right now. So for the start, what you must first know that when you are dealing with completing squares, also this one, the result which we get is called a bulldozer. They call it a bulldozer because it is where just feed in. You feed in the numbers, the A, B, and the C, then you get the answers. So for that case, if the equation is, the quadratic equation was given in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So if the quadratic equation is given in this form, how can we apply completing squares so that we can get the answers? What we do, the first thing is to note the equation. We said that, like in the other part, when we are solving or when we are showing or proving certain answers, we are saying that we must make sure that the A value must be with a degree of 1. So here it is the same thing. Make this one to be with a degree of 1 by dividing all through by A. So this one will give us that x squared plus b out of ax plus c out of a equals 0. So it will give us certain thing like this. So from there, after getting that one, we say that the number which is in the middle is the sum of the roots, and the other one is the product. Now, for this case, when you are dealing with completing squares, that one does not apply here. So what here we have to do, we get the number which is in the middle, which is the b, which one we say that is the sum. We have to divide it by 2. That means you get this one, the value which is in the middle, assuming this is I can call it this one bm. If this one is m, so that means I'm going to get that value of m, then I divide it by 2. So I will say my m equals b out of a. So from there I'm going to divide it by 2. So for this case, it will be m out of 2. So when you divide it by 2, also this side you do the same. So for this case, it will be b out of 2a. You are dividing it by 2. So now after dividing by 2, what you do, let me write it, divide the value of b, and then by 2, or multiply it by a half, which is divided by 2. Then from there, what you do, you have to square the result, which you have got. So this means that we are going to square this result which we have got. That means it is m out of 2. We are going now to square it. Then we say what you do this side, also do it the other side. So that means it will be now m out of 2, but the whole thing squared, which will give us also this side when you square, it becomes b out of 2a, but the whole thing squared. So this is what we get. So after squaring, what you do, you go back now in the initial equation the equation which we had, which was the form of x squared, then plus b out of a, x, then plus c out of a equals 0. So from this equation, what we are going to do, we are going to first take this c out of a, the other side of 0. We take c out of a, the other side, so this side it was initially positive. When you take the other side, it will become a negative. So this one becomes x squared plus b out of a, x. So this one gives us negative c out of a. So that's what we get after doing this. So by doing this, this one is going to help me in applying this one, which I got after squaring. What you do, you go to another step, which is saying that add b out of 2a, but the whole thing squared on both sides. On both sides. So what does this one mean? It means that I'm going to get this one, the number which I squared. I add it here and also here. You add it this side and this side. So for that case, this one will happen to be that it is x squared, then a plus b out of a, b out of x, then I'm adding it here. So it becomes plus b out of 2a by the whole thing squared. So minus, so this one becomes equal to negative c out of a, then times, so we are adding, so it becomes a plus. It becomes a b out of 2a by the whole thing squared. So that's what I'm meaning. You add it this side, also this side you add it. So that's what I'm saying by adding it on both sides. So from there, we are saying that we have this component here and this one. So you see, this is the expansion of a certain value. It is just expansion of a certain value. So you must take note of also of that one. Like now, if I expand x plus 1 squared, this one we said that when we expand certain value like this will give us x squared plus 2x, then plus 1. So it is the same like this. This one is like, as take an instance, if this one, this value of 1 was a half, to be x plus a half, what will it be? So for this case, when you're expanding this, it will be that you get that value which is x squared, then plus, because this one is going to appear 2 times the half, so that's why you put it 2, then times that value of a half, then x, then we get also this one now squared, so it becomes a half squared. So this one is the same thing we have here. So when you try to reduce this one and this one to have x squared plus x, then plus a half squared. So this thing is the same like this. So these things are the same. So we have x squared, so have here x, so here have b out of x. So that means where there is here the invisible one, here you have to be out of x. So if you try to relate the two, you find that this one is an expansion of x, then x plus b out of a to be x plus b out of 2a by the whole thing squared. From what we have seen here, that when you square this one, we get something like this, then continue. So we can try to check if it is correct by saying that it is x plus b out of 2a, then here times x plus b out of 2a. If we try to multiply this one, we see whether we can get this one. So this times this, you get x squared. So now this times this, you get plus b out of 2a x. Also we have this times this, which is again plus b out of 2ax. So now we have this one times this, which is plus b out of 2a, but the whole thing squared. So I think when you try to add this one plus this, it will give us that x squared plus 2b out of 2a, then x, then plus b out of 2a, the whole thing squared. So for this case, this one will cancel, which will give us this thing which we have here. Then for that case, we have seen that this one is true, that it can be got from there. So now we continue. So now this thing is the same as that. So this one will be equal to. So we got this side. This side, you have to first get the LCM. But before you get the LCM, you must first introduce a square on each of these, which is negative c out of a, then plus b squared out of 4a squared. So when you square this one, so for that case, don't open the brackets on this one, leave it like that. What you do, you first deal with this side, so it becomes here x plus b out of 2a, the whole thing squared, which will give us, get the LCM, which is 4a squared as the LCM. So this one divided by this, you get that it is b4a, because 1a will cancel, which becomes 4a times this, which is negative 4ac. So now we are here, this one divided by this, you get a times that. That becomes a plus a b squared, because this time divided by this, you get a 1. So remember with that. So from there, after doing this, we come back now to this side. Remember, this one is squared here. What do we do to remain with only something which is not squared? What we do, we take a root on both sides, square root on both sides, this one and this one will cancel, remain with x plus b out of 2a equals 2. Now we are this side, which is the root of, and now we begin with the positive, which is b squared minus 4ac out of 4a squared. So this one, we can also separate it. This one, we separate by putting a root on the numerator and the denominator alone. So this one, it becomes to be x plus b out of 2a, which will be equal to, applying the root on each, which will be root of b squared minus 4ac, so divided by root of 4a squared. So we are seeing that the denominator has a component of 4, of which the 4 is the same as 2 squared, and you have a squared, which that means you can take a root of the denominator. So for this case, it becomes x plus b out of 2a to be equal to the root of b squared minus 4ac out of 2a as the result. So we need now to get the value of x. Now here we are making now x the subject. The purpose of doing this, we are making x the subject, and also we are making also the use of the completing of the squares. Now, what we forgot that when we take the root of any number, it is either a positive or negative. So here must also be positive or negative from what we said. Because when we are solving a quadratic equation, we must have two answers which we get, x1 and x2. That's why we apply positive and negative. So now from here we're going to take now this one, the other side. We take the b out of 2a, the other side, which will give us that our value of x equals 2. When you take this one, this side will be a negative now, which is negative b out of 2a, then plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac out of 2a. So we are saying that when we reach on this step that we have the same denominator down here and here. So that means when we try to get the LCM, it is the same thing. So for that case, what we do, that means our x equals, we write the LCM, which is, that is 2a. So this one now, when the LCM is the same, we just write now the numerator, which is a negative b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac. So this one will be our result, which we get after applying a completing square on this equation, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So we shall come out with this. So when you are dealing with these questions of quadratic equation, and they have said that you solve the equation, if they have not instructed you which method to use, what you can do, you can either just put in the values of a, b, c, and you get the answers. You have that the x1 and x2 to be got from this one. This one in the ordinary secondary, they call it that this is a bulldozer. Because for it, you just apply just the figures and it gives you directly the answer. But it is got after doing all of this. Then you come to this one. So this is how you can